Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Keep Gaming Reviews. I'm your host, Lan Mind. I am joined by Miyamo CG. What's going on, brother?
Let's get this money you hurt.
And we have Johnny still in the mountains. Johnny BoomBotz, what's going on, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What up? What up, gentlemen? How you doing today?
Good. How's everyone's week been going so far? I know we've been dropping content nonstop the whole week. How y'all feeling?
I'm tired.
I feel like I've been seeing way too much of you two lately.
Yeah. I think I need a break too. I think this is it.
Well, we're not getting breaks because now this show's coming out, so we got 6 weeks of this.
9 weeks, I heard. It's 9 weeks.
Wait, 9?
9
Wait,
weeks.
hold on. So we got 9 weeks of this. We got ShangChi
Word.
or ShangChi, however you pronounce it.
Yeah. You got Eternals.
And then we got our regularly scheduled joint. Let's go.
Word.
Baby.
There's a lot of stuff going on, man. John doesn't look happy. He's like, I'm not ready for this.
That's too much of the two of you.
Hey.
Well, you already know why we're here. We're here to talk about the new Marvel show on Disney Plus, Marvel's What If. We're talking about the first episode with Captain Carter, I guess we call it, yeah, right? And
Yes.
Guys, right off the bat, what were your thoughts leading into this cinematic universe, cartoon-like, connected, and what were your thoughts coming into this show?
Johnny, go ahead.
I would say going into it,
Yeah.
excitement because of the fact that after I was excited to begin with about the what if because I saw like in the preview they saw like zombie, Captain America, like all different things going on. Like they had so many different variations of this stuff, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Then with Loki, and we got the multiverse with Loki and all, and then they announced that this is gonna be canon to Marvel and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I was blown away, and I was like, "Oh shit! I can't wait. This is gonna be. I'm excited for what if. I'm excited to see where we're gonna go with this. See where it takes us."
Chris?
I was gonna say the same exact thing. I was like, I was already interested in it. I predicted that this was gonna be my favorite series out of all of them before any of this stuff even came out. And then the fact the way Loki ended with the whole multiverse and them saying it is gonna be canon, I was just like, oh, it's lit then. What's up? What we doing? What's the vibes?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you all. I felt the same way. I was a little skeptical in the beginning because obviously they didn't mention that it was canon. I thought it was just one-off thing where like we're getting cartoons of the comic books of what ifs and all this stuff, and I'm like, I'll watch it, but it didn't seem important to me. But when they said it was canon and they were all connected in some way, I was like, okay, I'm in now. Now I need to see what they have in store. Marvel has a great track record, and now with this new multiverse and everything connecting, I was all in, and I was extremely excited. I woke up this morning and I told my son, because it is a cartoon, I say, Lou, I'm gonna watch Marvel's What If. He's like, Dad, what is that? I said, it's a cartoon of the Marvel superheroes. I said, do you want to watch it? He's like, yeah, I guess. And I didn't know what we were gonna get into, and we're gonna talk about it now, but my son was kind of skeptical, but when we finished watching it, he was like, is there more? And that's where, I was like, wow.
Will be.
Yeah, there will be. I was like, okay, if it got my son, I mean, I think they got something here. You know what I'm saying? And I want to just dive right into it. This is the beginning of a what if series. I don't know if they're going to do a season 2, but basically what they're doing is they're giving you scenarios of what we've seen in the cinematic universe, but from different perspective of what it might have been if it was somebody else, or what it is in another universe or another timeline. And we are getting the voice actors for some of these characters as well that were in the movies. They're coming back to voice their character that was in the movie. Some people did not do their voices, like Captain Steve Rogers. Chris Evans did not do his voice.
Yeah.
And so those are just some of the things that some of these people are not gonna be doing, but for the most part, I think everyone is back. I know we got episode 2, Chadwick Boseman. That was his last time doing T'Challa. Yeah, that was his last take. He filmed
His last time playing it. Yep.
Yeah, the Black Panther, and it's gonna be in episode 2, so I'm excited to see that as well. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, a lot of these actors have come back to do the voices for these characters in the cartoon. So I want to give it to Chris. I know, Chris, you were really looking forward to this, and you said it, and when you mentioned it, that this was gonna be your favorite show.
Yeah.
Going after everything has said and done, there was no end credit scene. You seen the credits and you just left. What were your thoughts after you saw the show?
Terrible. I freaking hated it. 1 out of 10.
Chris
No, I'm stop. First off, I really enjoy the fact that they're showing it to us from the perspective of the watcher, which they've
Great point.
slightly mentioned before in the MCU. It was like a little Easter egg thing where Stan Lee, rest in peace, was talking to them, and it's basically from their perspective, which is awesome. And they mentioned the multiverse stuff, how one thing had changed the whole trajectory of this universe in general. So, of course, in this episode, they kind of just rehashed the first Captain America movie in a 30-minute span, which was kind of dope in a different way, obviously, where Peggy ends up taking the serum and becoming Captain
Carter. They
Captain
just call
Carter.
it Captain Carter, yeah.
Right, instead of Agent Carter.
Yeah.
So it was dope. I enjoyed the story because of how it changed. It wasn't like super huge changes to the Captain America story, really. And then it also gave us like little references back to Captain America, like when Bucky says, "Give it up for Captain America," but instead Steve says, "Give it up for Captain Carter." It was freaking dope. I loved it.
Give me 1 second. Hold on.
How dare you? No, let me stop.
No, I was trying to minimize something and it wasn't. Okay, now I got it.
John,
John,
I'm about to go.
no. John, give us your thoughts, man. What do you think? What did you think?
Okay. Two things about it. One
man.
no. From a perspective of just watching it, like the animation was amazing. The animation was definitely on point. It looked great. The idea behind it, I'm all for the what if. I'm all for the Twilight Zone, because I got such a Twilight Zone like vibe from the intro and the outro. But I do love it though. I love the idea where they're going with it. I love the fact that the narrator starts off with the idea of the watcher starts off with, well, this is, blah, blah, blah. And they tell you, like, this is what was going on in the original movie. However, one little thing could change everything. Peggy Carter stayed. And that just basically, boom, new timeline. It's a branch. It's a branch that needs to be trimmed, et cetera, like that. So that's why I was like, okay, that's definitely cool, because you have what it is, what but just a possibility of what would happen if it was different. That right there is basically where it ends for me, though, because I'm not a huge Captain America fan myself, so that could be a big bias for myself too, because of the fact that Captain America is not really, his movies never did it for me, even during like any of the Marvels. The biggest only point that I loved about Captain America was the Avengers Assemble, but besides that, though, it was like I've never been huge into Captain America myself. With that being said, though, Captain Carter, it just didn't do it for me, the episode. Like, I don't enjoy the original Captain. I don't like to enjoy the original Captain America show. Not because, no, dead serious though, Lou. I don't like the original Captain America movies, so therefore I'm not going to enjoy a different version of it.
Right, I get that. I can understand that.
Winter Soldier? I thought was a great movie.
We're talking about the first Avenger, which is basically what this episode was.
Yeah. Okay.
Captain America.
I agree. First Avenger.
So that's where for me, like I said though too, like what they're doing, I'm still excited. I can't wait to see what goes on with Black Panther. I can't wait to see what goes on with the rest of the Marvel. I can't wait. However, this first episode though, for me though, if they would have started off with a different character's story, I would have been okay. I would have probably been more into it. I hope.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And I hope going forward I'm into it too, because I don't know what the other characters are going to be like. But it wasn't that it was bad. It just didn't do it for me because I'm not a Captain America fan. So therefore, I didn't have the investment into it that many people might have into it.
Makes sense.
But it was good. It was good.
I think this was, and I have a lot to say. So one, I thought the show was great. I love the animation, like John said. It looked incredible. Whoever thought of this concept, kudos to you, because it looked great. I love that it was fast paced, like nothing dragged. Like they got to the point very quickly. Yeah. She got the serum. She's now a superhero. She's doing this. She's doing that. And there's the show. And I'm like, oh, that's
the way Lou wants to watch all the movies. 2-hour movies.
Right. 30-minute movies. That's it.
But I was afraid. Like I saw it was 30 minutes, and I'm like, this has to be very quick. Like if you're gonna explain this story, it has to be quick, and it was. But it was quick, straight to the point. You got in, you got out. You knew what's going on, and it. I think this helped for people like us who already seen the first Avenger, so we already know of this. Now, if it's someone coming in with brand new eyes, they may be a little confused. I honestly think, like, if you are not up to date, this may not work for you. I think that's the only downfall, right? but I love that the actors, the voice actors, like Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher, he sounded great. It gave me like that Morgan Freeman vibe where he's talking, introducing, and letting you know what's going on. I thought that was great. Like John was saying, the narration was good. And the guy who voiced Chris Evans,
he did a great job.
He did a great job. It sounded like him, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that sounded good. There was some voice actors that I didn't like, and it's crazy because he actually plays him. Is Howard Stark, right? The father of Tony Stark.
Okay.
He voiced him, and he's actually the actor in the first Avenger. And I didn't like his voice acting. I don't remember his name. I don't have it listed here. But I didn't like his voice acting. It felt rushed. Like, I understand how Howard Stark is. You know, he's kind of like Tony Stark. They're very confident and very, macho guy. And
that's one thing I do want to mention, though.
What?
They changed him. They changed his whole personality.
No, they didn't change his personality. I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when Howard Stark got the Tesseract, they made an Iron Man suit.
I'm gonna get to that.
And Steve was using it. Yeah.
And freaking Chris wants to cut me off. So I was gonna get to that. Like, I love the story because like there's a lot of things from the first Avenger that they kept here, but then there was a lot of things that altered things, right? Like when Bucky fell off the train, he didn't fall off, and I was expecting like, oh shit, he's gonna fall off, and then we're gonna get a Winter Soldier. No, he didn't fall off, and he's like, oh, you almost ripped my arm. I'm like, okay, we get it. The arm came off, blah blah blah. But that didn't happen here, right? And then we got our Mark 1 Iron Man suit. I was like, wait, this is Hydra Stomper. I'm like, what? I was like a little confused, and then because I was wondering what they're gonna do with Steve Rogers. Like, is he now just gonna be in the background? But he served a purpose here, being in that suit. And I loved her when she was fighting Captain Carter. I love those fight scenes. I also love when like she was flipping over the trucks and like it kind of gave you like this 3-dimensional character, although it was in 2D. The lighting was so well put together. Even when she was holding the shield, the way it shined. I thought everything was well put together, and I have no complaints. I'm glad that they started off with this, where rather if they would have came up with something right hot, like with Black Panther or Spider-Man or Doctor Strange, I felt like this was a great introduction. We have a female lead. This is great. I want more now, rather than give me something straight off the top. But even for this not being like one of the main people of the Avengers, and then at the end when she like speeds in time, where it's different because like you see her punching the punching bag, kind of like what Chris Evans was doing, and then she's throwing the weights like she would have been throwing the shield. There's a lot of callbacks, and it's in its own way, and I thought that was so dope.
Yeah.
Now, did anybody else get the idea though when the train went down and the snow came down? Did anybody else in their mind go, "Oh shit, they're gonna freeze Chris? They're gonna freeze him for like 70 years or some shit in the snow in the suit?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" And then they showed you though too. Like, remember they showed you that. They were like, "Oh, where is he? Where is he? He's not here or whatever." But then he turned out he was like Hydra kidnapped him.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna be the Winter Soldier.
If you're not paying close attention, you don't realize that was Hydra, that he was in Hydra base.
Yeah.
Right. And then I love the fact though that they didn't freeze Peggy Carter. Instead, they made her go travel through time.
Yeah.
And then they brought it right to the original movie where they introduced Loki, but instead of Loki coming through, it's now Peggy Carter coming through.
Right.
Yeah, and then you have Hawkeye, Nick Fury and Hawkeye, and they actually Samuel Jackson. They're both voicing their characters, right? I thought that was dope. Like her getting like sped up into time. Like how did she get there? I need some explanations about that too. Like how did she get?
So it kind of shows what happened to Red Skull in the first one, that he ended up being on Vormir instead of being dead. You know what I mean? Like he went
he
through
died
like a
quick
portal.
in this one, which I was surprised from that big octopus.
Oh, he got
thing.
smoked. Yeah.
I was like, what is this? I was like, I gotta start looking in the comics. Who is this creature? I don't know who this was. This big ass octopus. I feel like I saw Starro and now I'm getting this octopus. What the fuck?
It was anime, bro. You can't.
What's all these creatures, these sea monsters? This is why I don't go in the sea.
That shit about to take a whole different turn at that point.
It starts with a hen and it ends with a. No,
Yo,
but that's similar. Isn't that similar to the Tesseract with Loki when Loki used the Tesseract to go away?
Yeah,
in the Loki show, same kind of shit. He just transported.
Yeah, but I don't think he transported in time where he went 70 years or so.
Right, but who's to say though? Because now, mind you, though, too, that's the crazy part. Now that after Loki blew that shit open with time travel and everything else too, and like everything else, it's like my mind itself can't wrap around. And I'm kind of doing that idea of like, I'm gonna just take it. I'm gonna let it rock.
Yeah,
like,
just accept it for
knows
this.
what they're doing.
Right.
Kevin Feige knows what he's doing. Like, bro, you
Yeah.
want to go ahead and you want to tell me that she transported time? Bet I'm gonna let you do that. And about 5 years from now, you're gonna be like, by the way, Peggy Carter, she traveled through time because bam, bam, bam. I'm like, yes. 5 years when you finally fucking told me, I know it now. Like, I'm good with it. Like, I'm in Feige we trust, bro. Like,
Right.
I would like to see her in a live action film though. Now that we got this, I would love to see her come
I
back.
gotta do that.
Huh?
You mean as Captain Carter?
Yeah. At some point, I don't know, but I would love to see her in a live action.
That'll be rough because like Shorty that plays her is not that brolic, bro.
I know. Yeah,
They'd have to put mad CGI on her. Her arms are huge, bro.
Yeah, no, it
You gotta get like Ruby Rose or China to play her or some shit.
you're right.
There he is.
No, you're right. I'm just saying. I just thought it was so dope seeing her in the suit with the shield. I'm like, yo, I really wonder how she would look. I get it. I get what you guys are saying, but I was so blown away by it. I thought it was an amazing job, and I really can't wait to see what else they have to do.
Yeah, Chris, you want to ask a question?
I was gonna say no. I was gonna say this could also be an introduction to Captain Britain, because her suit was very,
Yeah.
Captain Britain-esque, and that's an actual character in the Marvel comics. So, hey, that could be a way to get the suit in and introduce a new character in a different area. Because as of right now,
I think
we haven't been introduced to much. Right, we haven't been introduced to much on the ground characters outside of America, and of course the twins. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, we got Wakanda and America. They've been to all these other places, but they haven't. Yeah, right. But I'm saying like they've been to all the other places. Yeah. They visited all these places, but they haven't introduced characters from these places. So it's like, yo, what's going on? What's going on outside of America? Right.
Nothing outside of New York City ever takes place. But I think that itself, though, and I'm sure Luke can actually go and because Luke's the movie guy with this, and I feel like a lot of times though too is that in any movie though too, like for some reason nothing ever happens outside the United States. Like any world-ending movie is always in the U.S. Like the U.S. has to save it or some shit, and it seems to be like just a trending thing in general. Nothing against any other countries, but it just seems to be like a trending thing where depending on the country that the movies are made and what the demographic is for. Seems to be where they're gonna play it towards the most. So like, right. I'm sure that if you go to like India, like Captain America out there, like if they were making their own version of it, though, it would be like India would be like the main place that's about to get like destroyed, as opposed to New York City and shit.
Yeah, I think we're now with Shang-Chi, we're gonna go outside of America, right now, and then we have the Eternals. I don't know where they're gonna be. It looks like it could be all Egypt. Yeah, right. I don't know where they're gonna be. So I think, and I also remember Kevin Feige said that this phase is gonna be more outside of what we're accustomed to. We're gonna get introduced to new characters, new places. It's gonna be more of a outer space kind of galactical thing that we're gonna get introduced to. Yeah, and I'm cool with that too. But as far as the what ifs, I think this is gonna be great to give us different perspective of obviously what if things would have been different. So I'm really looking forward to the whole Spider-Man thing. I know they mentioned during the week that Spider-Man was
Vampire Hunter Spider-Man.
Well, they said it was going to be pretty dark, and they had to pull that kind of episode that they had intentions to do. And I noticed too in this show, which I think I love because my son was there too. The violence was there, but you saw no blood. Like when it was like gunshots or anything like that or hits, you didn't see anything like what we would have saw in any anime. We didn't see it here, and I thought that was pretty dope because if I could sit here and watch this with my son, where I try to watch Marvel movies with him, he's only 8 years old. He has no interest. He'd rather see dinosaurs and shit. But for me, I'm like, yo, Lou, that's my son's name, Louis, for those that don't know. I'm like, yo, Lou, let's watch this, bro. This is gonna be dope. I'm telling you, you gotta trust me. What 8-year-old's gonna sit there and listen to me? I don't know, but my son just did it. But this one, it caught his attention. He stood there, he loved it, he wanted more, and I can't complain. It's gonna drop every Wednesdays, which I'm looking forward to. Something in the middle of the week to continue from what we've went through over the weekend. I just love the Wednesdays. I rather had not on Fridays because Fridays are just too long. And I think this is so good. There's gonna be 9 more episodes. I wonder what they're gonna do with Spider-Man and with Doctor Strange. Those are the things that I keep thinking about. Also, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
And T'Challa, because supposedly he's gonna be with that franchise. They're gonna put those two together, like as if he would have been Peter Quill, so to speak. So I'm just really excited for those things. I don't know what else they have planned. I know they showed the zombie Captain America. I don't know what that's about.
They showed Black Widow killing Iron Man in Iron Man 2.
Right.
They did. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she was getting arrested.
Oh, I gotta watch those trailers because I didn't notice that. So I'm excited. I really am. I think this is a great series. I know it's canon. I just wonder how they're gonna put these together in the live action movies.
See, that's what I was going to ask you. I have questions about that now too. Like, do you think my two questions are: one, do you think that this is going to lead into live action What If, or are they going to bring these into like, because now they're introducing multiverse of madness. Right. So now is this Disney's way of trying to test the idea of how far can we go with the multiverse and what can we pull out? Because in all reality, they can literally make whatever the fuck they want and they can get away with it. Once you have the multiverse, you can literally make, like they made an alligator Loki. So you can literally make anything you freaking want, and as long as the audience takes to it, because now I think we're getting to the point where we were going with the comics and following the comics, but now we're branching away. Now we're verging into a film comic version where they're writing their own stuff. They're gonna go their own route. They're not gonna be based off of the comics. Marvel is gonna go their own route, and this is the next evolution of Marvel itself, where they're gonna be comics, but it's not like where DC does the DC 23 or whatever like that, the brand new ones. It's gonna be Marvel. Instead of doing new comics, Marvel's now gonna give you film comics. This is gonna be their new tapestry, their new artwork to go with, and try to give it to you that way.
I'm okay with that. Because I feel that we're getting the characters from the comic books, but we're not doing word for word what the stories are in the comic books. And I know us as comic book fans, we kind of like dissect that, like, oh, well, this didn't happen here. Kind of like with Taskmaster and Black Widow. Like, that's not Taskmaster. They're doing their own stories with these characters. And I don't think it was ever intended for them to ever copy word for word from the comic books. Yeah. I remember even back in the day when Bryan Singer was doing X-Men, he would not allow any comic books on their sets because he told the actors, like, you are doing this movie based on our writers and our concept. You're not doing it from the comic books. And I think this is, it's an interpretation of based on these characters. It's not word for word. And I think Marvel's doing it their own way. And now we have accepted, kind of like what John said, like, I don't know how she got there, but I'm okay with it because and Kevin Feige we trust. So I think this is great. I'm just dying, like inside. I'm dying. I want X-Men already. Give it to me already. I don't know if this is how it's gonna get introduced. I want Fantastic Four. Give it to me already. Like just give me these things. I want Silver Surfer the right way. Just give it to me. You know.
And that's the thing though too.
Chris, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Give it to me. I want it now.
I'm done. I'm so done with the comment, with that statement. I can't wait to see the comment section.
Just give it to me.
Nah, you know what it is though too. I think they should keep it animated.
Yeah, that idea.
If certain things work, because this could be their way to test how things work, right? So if it works, they can easily bring that person into a live action movie, right? So like Peggy, they already have the actress for it. Yeah. They can figure out something with the CGI, how they did with
Chris Evans
when he first played Captain America.
Like, smoke,
you know what I mean? Right? Brooklyn. Yeah. So like they can figure something out. I think it's easier to make somebody bigger, anyways. Like look at Hulk and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure She-Hulk is gonna be CGI'd as well. They can figure something out to make it look right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, they're gonna have to do Miss Marvel. How's she gonna stretch Armstrong or something, right?
right. I don't think we're ready yet for X-Men though, or Fantastic Four. I know they're bringing them in eventually.
That hurts my feelings.
But there's so much, and they want to make sure it's done right. And I trust Feige heavy on this because I think I know he's a fan of the stuff, and I know he takes inspiration from the comics in general.
He loves Fantastic Four too.
Like he basically takes inspiration from the stories of the comics and makes them his own, right? So because he loves these characters, which you can clearly tell he does,
Yeah.
I think he's gonna take his time, especially with the X-Men. Fantastic Four is a little easier to put into because
Only
they start off as it's only 4, and they kind of start off as normal people anyway. So it's like all this weird stuff's happening. We're just scientists and accident, oops, right? Like that happens. X-Men is a little more hard to get into because it's mutated genes and all this extra stuff.
With the multiverse, where they could do it, where that's a different multiverse in general that already has that gene and that's been dormant. So now you go to this other multiverse, and now you're on a different multiverse. You're not in the same realm that we've been in, where Fantastic. Because remember, Fantastic Four and Marvel and everything else too. New York City, that's their thing. Like that's fine. They all meet up. They all cross paths. But X-Men never really crossed paths often with Marvel, with Iron Man and stuff, except for like maybe special crossover episodes or something like that. But they might have done it. But I personally don't ever remember them. Where I don't remember the X-Men and Spider-Man hanging out
and they
together.
fight. I know Wolverine and Spider-Man meet up a lot. I think Wolverine's like the one that
he's
crosses
the one
over
that
the most.
crosses. Yeah, he's the one that crosses the most.
Right, so
obviously, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver cross over a lot.
Right, but you're not talking about like the main general. Like you don't see Professor X hanging out talking to Spider-Man, Professor X talking to Iron Man.
Right.
So it's like that's where you can possibly use that multiverse. And I hate to say this, but you could also use Deadpool and the fact that they even showed you with the no. Only reason I'm saying that is because Cable.
I've always said that's the easiest way for them to do it.
That one time jumper, that time loop jumper, where he can literally jump from anywhere at all.
Right.
So now with that alone, that kind of technology, just introducing that, even if something small as that, can introduce something where you can have them jump from multiverse to multiverse. Doctor Strange could do it on his own. Scarlet Witch could do it on her own because they're Nexus beings, but. You know what I mean? So there's so many. It's so much that they have opportunity for.
And I love Cable. I think if they bring him back, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I think having him back from like it, I don't know how they're gonna play it off.
He's just a variant of Thanos, bro. No, I'm stopping.
But the one thing I've been dying for, and you probably guys won't agree with this, but I love the 2099 comic book. Right? I don't know if you guys ever read those back in the day.
I have.
I love that whole futuristic Marvel characters where they're in the future. You see, like Spider-Man has, they all look different, but they are who they are. But it's like it's in a different time zone, or not time zone, just a different time frame rather. And I don't know if they will ever explore it. That's why I think Cable can bring you there, and then maybe that's where the crossover happens. I don't know, because it's not a big series in the comic book world. But it's one of my favorites, and that's something that I want.
Days of Future Past.
I love Days of Future Past. I know some people hated it.
They tried it with that, and that's something though too. Time travel is when comics time travel to me is such a touchy thing, because it could be done amazingly, or you can really fuck it up royally.
Yeah.
And Days of Future Past, the concept was there, and it was great for the concept.
Yeah.
But I don't think they executed it the right way that they could have. That's where my issue with that is, but because of the fact that that's only my issue with, like, there's nothing wrong with the movie, but that was my issue with that alone, though. But not to get into that right now, though. My quick question I have for both of you before I go any further: the Watcher was the narration for this.
Yes.
We, under general consensus, believe that Stan Lee was a Watcher because of the fact that he was in every single movie, showed up in some way or another, though, just as a bystander in some way. He never interfered, but he showed up as part of the movie somehow or another. Then, because of the fact they showed him in Guardians of the Galaxy when they were traveling through time, and they showed him sitting there hanging out with the Watchers.
Mm-hmm.
So the theory had always been that maybe he was a Watcher, or he was working with the Watchers, whatever it may be, or he had the powers of the Watcher. Do you think that if Stan Lee was still alive, if they would have made him be the narrator for the intro and the intro and outro of the TV series?
Oh, that would have been perfect.
I would have loved it. I would have loved it. Yeah,
that would have been perfect, dude.
Yeah, I would have loved it.
Really think just hearing his narration.
You know what's crazy? They could have easily made it like that same exact scene where he was sitting there talking to them and him just narrating the situations to them, like, "Yo, this is what I saw in this universe," and then, oh my god,
I would have loved it.
You know what the worst part is, though, is that not that the worst part is, but it's amazing that what they said, though, what Feige had said and the rest of them said too. They refused to use his voice at all.
Yeah, you're not going to see it again.
Because they were going to use his voice in the video games, Guardians of the Galaxy video game, I think, or something. They were going to use his voice for it, and they told him, no, sorry, we're not giving you the rights to it. because we literally signed NDA, basically an NDA or like fucking paperwork that said,
Makes
yo,
sense.
it's not happening. Like his voice is staying locked up. You can't use it any kind of way at all when leaving him rest. Like same thing with Chadwick Boseman too.
Yeah,
Like,
I respect it.
They refuse to touch anything on him either.
That makes
They're letting them just stay
Yeah.
at the top of their game kind of thing.
Yeah. I respect it. No, I think, yeah, if they would have had him, it would have been incredible. I think if he were alive, he would have loved doing that part, just narrating, because he just had a love for this. He really did. And a lot of these stories came from his brain. So it's like, it's only right that he narrate this part. That right there gave me chills. And I would have loved it. I would have loved it. I can't.
That would have happened. Like, even if they would have done it where they would have even just had him say Excelsior or something like that. Like, if they would have used his voice, bro, I literally would have choked up and brought tears to my eyes.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I forgot what movie it was. I think it was after he passed. They did like a tribute to him or something like that, though, and they made the whole speech that he gave about his love for the comics and like the love for Marvel and everything else too, and his creations and all. Bro, I was not able to sit there for more than like 5 seconds when he was talking without crying. I'm like it's crazy because somebody like him held such a high regard for what we grew up in our childhood. Like,
no
matter what you were in the comics or the TV show, no matter how he touched you in some way. Like, well, let me stop. His comics, like the Marvel in general, touched you in some way.
But that's the thing, and I think I mentioned this before too. Like, Captain America was the first big comic book based off this the war, right? Because that's what this was all created. It was really Stan Lee making these little comics inside the newspapers that were based off what was going on in World War II. So I think it was only right to start this off that way with the alternative of Captain Carter. So this was great. It wasn't perfect, but I really loved it. Before we end this, we have to give our grades. We've been missing out on these for a while. I'm gonna start with Chris. 0 to 10. What do you grade this?
This episode, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna give it a 6.8 out of 10. Okay.
I knew this was going south. I knew it.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it a 6.8 out of 10.
6.7
out of 10 at best. Okay.
All right. Whatever.
It's a good starter, but like Johnny was saying, it's not much of a different story than the first Captain America. Obviously, the little changes were cool and I appreciated them. The little callbacks were cool and I appreciated them. But overall, Captain America's story really isn't. That first intro story wasn't really my favorite either. And they kind of just rehashed it and they made it better than what the first Captain America was, which was fine by me. Think it's a good intro and I'm excited to see what they do next. 7 out of 10, I'll give it.
All right.
Let me ask Chris though, because I'm going to do it this way. Chris, 7 out of 10. Now, do you give that for the story or for like if you were to break it down? Because I have 2 ratings. I have a rating for what
execution.
If, like the execution of what if, and then I have a rating for the actual show itself, this episode itself.
Right.
Because for
I'll give it execution.
How do we start making different ratings?
No. Because in all reality, dude, like in all reality, this is something that's totally different. It's not a Marvel movie. It's not something that we've seen before. So for me, in my opinion, though, the overall the show itself, like this episode, was a 7 out of 10. But the execution for what if and the execution of what we're going with it, I would give that an 8 to a 9 out of 10 because of where they can take it and what is so much different about it and what I'm excited for. But so in all reality, if you want to give an overall rating, a 7.5 out of 10.
I was just gonna say that's a 7.5 then. That's a 7.5. Okay.
7.5 out of 10 for everything.
All right. Well, mine's is an 8 out of 10. I mentioned this before we went live. No surprise here. 8 out of 10. I thought it was great. I loved every moment of it. There were things that could have been better, obviously. Yeah, we know the first Avengers story wasn't the most appealing one out of all the movies, and soon we'll do our ratings of all the Marvel movies before we see Shang-Chi. But I thought overall this was a great introduction. Although the story wasn't the best, I love the artwork. I love the action scenes. I loved everything that I saw. And for me, having a child and having my son, 8-year-old son, watching with me, and he loved it, it just made it all better. And now I look forward to it every Wednesday to watch this with my son. So 8 out of 10 for me.
Lit.
So
lit.
That's gonna be it for us here on Keep Gaming Reviews. I want to thank you all for watching this with us. Chris, what are you doing, man? I'm trying to do an outro.
I'm thanking them with you. I feel
like you about to do an R&B song right now, bro. You licking your lips like LL Cool J.
Listen, girl, you feel me? Like, we out here. Thank you so much for watching. You feel me? Huh?
I don't even think women watch this shit. What is Chris doing? Oh my god! I mean, John, what are you doing? What was that? You're bumping and grinding.
Be the whole.
Oh, you're doing the genuine. Okay. My pony. All right. Anyway, so I want to thank you all for being here. Again, if you don't have the time to watch us on YouTube, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast. We also go live every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Keep Gaming Podcast. This Saturday, John will not be with us. He's going to be getting his Twitch-inspired tattoo. So shout out to John. We are going to have a special guest with us, with me and Chris. We're going to be live again, 12 p.m. Eastern. And then stick around for the post show. It's going to go down for the post show. You don't want to miss it. And that's going to be it for us. I love you guys. Until next time, keep gaming. Peace.